This short video will show you how to use your Tech Mode Go Grandstream 2170. First thing I want to take you through is how to place a call. To place a call, you can either lift the handset or touch the speaker button and dial internally the extension number, externally the 10 or the 11-digit phone number. So to call internally, lifting the handset, dialing the extension number, pressing the dial button. They answer the phone and you're talking. To dial externally, you'll dial the 10-digit phone number or the 11-digit phone number. And when I say that, I mean the area code followed by the phone number. Press the dial button. Call will go out. They'll answer. You'll be talking to them. When you're all done talking, you simply hang up the handset. To receive a call, when someone calls you, you can either pick up the handset or touch the answer button. Demonstrating that, I'm having someone call you internally. You'll see the internal person calling you. You can either press the answer button or lift the handset. Someone externally is calling you. It works the same way. Party from the outside calls you. You'll see the caller ID of the outside person. Your phone will be ringing. You can pick up the handset and you can talk to them. When you're all done, simply hang up the handset. If you don't want to answer the phone when someone's calling you, you have a couple other options. Notice along the bottom of the screen here, you have an answer button and a reject button. If you press the reject button, that will send the caller to your voicemail. By pressing the reject button, sends the caller to your voicemail. If I had pressed the answer button, it would have just simply turned on your speaker. If you're on a call and you receive a second call, you're on a call with your first party and someone else calls you, whether it's internal or external. You will notice in the display the second party calling you. You can put your first party on hold by touching the pause button here and answering the second party. Now you have two calls going. I'll put them both on hold. Both parties are on hold. You have two calls going. You can go back to either one of them. If you want to go back to this party, simply touch this green flutter. If you want to go back to this party, touch this green flutter. When you touch that one, you're all done with the call. You can press the end call button. This party's still waiting on hold. You can go back to this party by either pressing the green flutter. You can even press the resume button, and you're back on with the second party. When you're all done with them, again, you can just either hit the end call button or hang up the handset. So that shows you that you can actually be on two calls at the same time. I want to demonstrate the hold button again. So I'm going to go ahead and get a call going on my phone. And I want to show you the hold button. The hold button is right here. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's the two vertical lines. Some people call it a pause button. When you touch the hold button, it puts the party on hold. There's three ways to retrieve the call. One, you can touch the green flutter. Two, you can touch the resume. And then the third way is by touching the hold button again. So let me just simply show you by touching the resume. It's no longer flashing, and you're on the phone talking to the person. Again, you're all finished. Hang up, and the call is gone. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to transfer a call. You have your first party on the phone, and you want to transfer it to someone else. Call's coming in. So you got your first party. and you want to transfer this party to someone else internally. The way you're going to do that is you're going to press your transfer button. You're going to dial the other party, and you're going to decide if you want to blind transfer it or attend transfer it. When you hit the blind, you can simply hang up, and the other party gets the call without announcing it. If you want to announce the call, you answer the phone. You want to transfer the call this time, but you want to announce it. You touch transfer, dial the other party, pick attend transfer. You're not going to hang up the instrument. You're going to keep the instrument in your hand or up by your ear or whatever. And when they answer, you're going to be talking to them. And then when you want to pass the call off, you're simply going to touch the transfer button, and you're no longer part of the call and they have the call. The next feature I'm going to show you is how to place a conference call. You have your first party on the phone. Whether you made the call or received the call, you're going to have party number 1 on the phone. So here's party number 1. To conference with someone else, you're going to use the conference button. The conference button is this button right down here with the 3 little heads. When you press conference, your first party is going to wait for you to add your second party. So I'm going to dial my second party. Second party's going to answer. I'm going to let them know that I have a conference call, that I want to add someone onto the call with us. They're going to agree to the call, and I'm going to press the conference button. At this point, I have 2 parties plus myself. If you notice up here in the window, you'll see one's an internal, one's an external. I have them on the call and we're talking. I can kick one of the parties off when we're done talking to them if I want. Otherwise, I make the assumption that they're going to hang up and no longer be part of the call. Let me show you that step first. When the party hangs up, it goes back to just the one call. So, if they didn't hang up, again, I hit conference, dial, party answers, tell them that we have a conference call. I press conference. Now again, I'm back with my 2 parties plus myself. We have a feature called kick. Touching this button here, I can visually see these 2 parties individually in this window. Select user to kick from conference call. So this is party number 1. If I use the right arrow key or the left arrow key, doesn't matter, I'm going between the 2 parties. That's my external caller. That's my internal caller. I want to drop my external caller from the call. I have to make sure that their name is in the window. Notice it up here with the phone number. Notice it down here. Once they're in the window, if I hit the submit, we've dropped the external party from the call. When we're done with the call, we just simply hang up or press the end call button. The next feature that I want to show you is the volume bar. The volume bar controls 3 volumes. First volume it controls is handset in the cradle, phone is idle. This is going to adjust the listening or the loudness or softness of the incoming call. Pressing the volume up, pressing the volume down. Okay? Take it as quiet or as loud as you want it. The second volume it controls is if you have your handset up and you're speaking to someone, it will control the listening volume in your handset. If someone's speaking too softly, you can turn the volume up. If they're speaking too loud, you can turn the volume down. Some people say that if they're shouting, you can turn the volume down. The third volume is the speaker volume. All these phones are two-way speakers. When you press the speaker button, you can adjust the listening of the speaker itself, louder or softer. When you're all done, you can just turn the speaker off. So the three volumes are the ringing in sound, the loudness or softness of the call coming in to your phone, the handset volume, or the speaker volume. There's another feature that's the mute button. The mute button controls not only the speaker, but it controls the handset. So when you have a call and you're on the handset and you want to mute the button, you can touch mute. You can hear them, they can't hear you. When the mute is off, they can hear you speaking. Mute on, they cannot hear you speaking. If you use the speaker, so if you have a call and you answered the call on the speaker, you can use the mute button. Let me turn the volume down just a little bit. You can use the mute button. They can't hear you on the speaker. Mute button off, they can hear you. The mute button also controls another feature that we all have access to, and that's called our Do Not Disturb button. When the phone is idle meaning that you're not on it, you're not talking, it's the handset's in the cradle, okay? If you were to touch the mute button, the Do Not Disturb highlights in your window. Touch the mute button again, and it goes off. When you are in the Do Not Disturb mode and you have voicemail, the call will immediately go to your voicemail. If you use the Do Not Disturb and you do not have voicemail, the caller will get a busy signal. So we recommend that you do not use the Do Not Disturb unless you've been given the voicemail feature. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. The next feature that I want to show you is the Redial button. The Redial button will dial the last call that you made or the last number that you dialed. So if you touch the Redial button, it simply dials the last party. If you want to use your history button, you can select by using the history button. You can select from different types of calls. You can select answered calls. Notice I'm using the right arrow key. Dialed calls, missed calls. You can even see calls that you've transferred. Starting over again, there's all. So let's say that earlier today you answered a call from someone and now you want to call them back. By coming into your history button, let me exit this. By going back into the history button, by going back over to the answered button, I can arrow down to someone that I want to call back. If you give it just a second, you'll see not only their caller ID of their name, but their phone number. You can press the dial, and it's going to call that person back. All done with the call, you can hit the end call button or put the handset back in the cradle. Under the history button again, I can go over to a missed call. I can arrow up or down. Again, just give it a second and you'll see in the window not only the name of the person, this happens to be an internal call, but it also shows you their extension number. I can press the dial button. If I don't want to and I want to return to my home screen, just press this button right here, which represents taking you back a screen, which is taking you home. Busy lamp field is a button on your phone that gives you a visual indication of your fellow employees as to whether they're on the phone or not on the phone. If a busy lamp field has been designated for a person, such in this case for Rick, if you see it lit red, that means they're on the phone talking to someone. If it's lit green, that means that they're available. You can actually call the person if you lift your handset, touch the busy lamp field, and call them. You'll see that it's red. If they're on the phone talking, you'll see that it's lit red, so you would know not to call them. The next feature I want to show you is the System Park. The System Park is your ability to put a call on hold for other people to pick up. I'll demonstrate. I have a call and I want to put it on the park feature so that someone else in my office can pick it up, or so that I can go to another phone and retrieve the call. By putting the call on park, using my SP Park and hanging up the instrument, the call will be read, and it'll be read on everybody else's phone that has the System Park buttons. I would walk over to someone else's phone, I would pick up the handset, I would touch the park button, and have the caller. If I had just put that call on just plain hold, which is a feature I taught you earlier today using the pause button, I am the only person that can pick up that call by coming back to my own phone. I have to come back to my instrument to take that call off a hold. So I would come back and hit resume and get the call. If I chose to park the call, I could go to a phone in the warehouse, I could go to a phone in another office, and I could retrieve that call by simply touching the same SP Park that I put the call on hold. I have to remember that I used SP1, so I'd walk up to a phone, I'd pick up the handset, I would touch SP1, and I would have the call. That's the System Park button.